Hey there peeps, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope everybody had a good week, had a good Friday. I hope your day was even half as nice as mine. I'm shooting a video about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and as soon as I'm finished I'm probably going to go down to the park and play a little bit. Man, we just got beautiful clear skies today and probably about 59, 60 degrees. Can't beat that. Today I want to talk about raw food diet problems, and this makes it hard. Guys, I do videos every day, so if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate if you go down and hit that big red subscribe button. Then be sure you click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. Just realized I smell a little smoky here. Kind of flashback to the days when I used to do barbecue. I was out in my backyard. I got a whole lot of papers here I've been shredding, and I got a little metal thing, you know, about the size of a wastebasket, and I figured, okay, may go a little quicker burning it, but it seems like no matter where I stand, the wind always blows smoke all over me. And I remember those days when I used to barbecue. I'd go home and just smell of fire, smoke, and sometimes I'd take a bath for 2 days and not get it out. But anyhow, so what are the problems out there? Seeking perfection. Seeking perfection, seeking perfection, seeking perfection. I was answering some comments on Instagram this morning. I caught up on some comments on here on YouTube from last night, and it's like people just got to get that. Like, I get questions and I'm just like, what? I don't even know what they just said there. Stop worrying about these little micro things. Like, you've got to learn everything about the raw food diet. Once I learn everything about the raw food diet, then I'll do the raw food diet. Well, wait a minute. But what about this? Explain this to me before I start eating this. And it's just like, you know, they wait until, I don't know really what they're waiting on. Circumstances are perfect. Everything is perfect. They know everything. But there's never going to be perfect circumstances. This lifestyle, if I'm not, look, what you see is what you get here. Maybe I'm about to fall apart right now. I don't know. But the health you see in front of you, there hasn't been a lot of thinking that is going into that. I've just kind of started eating fruits and vegetables about 6.5 years ago. I eat a lot of fruit. I eat a lot of fruit. Probably need to up the vegetables a little bit more. In fact, I was going to have a salad tonight, but I can't find a good head of lettuce in this town. But yeah, you know, I just started eating a lot of fruit. It's not all that hard. Like today, haven't done anything all that complicated. I get people that ask me stuff and I'm like, well, I don't do it, so I can't really answer that for you. All I've really had today, and I'm not saying, you know, I might not need a little bit more variety, but I had an ice cream for breakfast and then I had a huge smoothie for lunch. So I'm probably already up to about 22 or 23 bananas for the day. And then I'll make a little something this evening. But how complicated is that? I didn't, you know, do all this crazy stuff. Threw some bananas in the blender, threw some kale in the blender, threw some spirulina in the blender, threw some cacao in the blender, and boom, had a smoothie. And you know what? Nothing's hurt me yet. You know, it's funny, I always get this kind of stuff like, well, Jack, you better not do this. You better watch out for that. You better do this. You better do that. Even like with little things around here. I'm looking at my Vitamix right now. I'm a little grungy. I'm clean, but I'm a little grungy. Most things that I've ever had since I've been doing this lifestyle. I make a smoothie. I don't get in there and start polishing and scraping and scrubbing and shit. I put water in the Vitamix, swish it around, get everything out of there, rinse it, boom, it's good to go. Which it does make it look a little bit grungy, but, you know, and maybe that's not a great thing. That's not a great thing, but I haven't been sick 6.5 years. You know, I have this little body issue, but I haven't had any sicknesses to speak of. You know, I think back a few years ago, I had the occasional cold here and there when I wasn't as diligent. Now, between the way I eat, and I'm pretty fastidious about keeping my hands clean. As soon as I come back in the house, I'm just trained. Before I touch anything, I go to my room and I go to my bathroom and I wash my hands. So stop seeking perfection. Stop waiting to get this perfect combination of the raw food diet. Jump in. Jump in. Just jump in and start doing it and learn as you go. Just jump in and start eating a lot of fruit. Eat some vegetables. Increase your knowledge. Yes, you may not get everything you need, but you're not going to die if you don't get everything you need from day one. Because think about it. If you're on the standard American diet, or if you were coming from the standard American diet, are you getting everything you need on the standard American diet? I doubt it. I don't care. Like I always say, I like my chances. Even if I'm limited, even if I'm not eating quite enough, even if I'm not eating perfectly, I still like my chances a whole hell of a lot better than I did 8 years ago, 9 years ago when I was eating a standard American diet. So stop striving for this perfection. Stop waiting until all the conditions are perfect and this happens and that. Jump in. Just start doing it. The next one is comparing to others. People are always comparing themselves to others on this lifestyle. Nobody is you. Nobody is me. We all have our unique circumstances. We have our circumstances of where we're located, which means what we have access to. We all have different circumstances on, do we live alone? Do we have a family? Do we have obligations? Are you the person that's making food for the family? And you're trying to eat raw and they're not. Do you have a lot of distractions in your house? Do you have people giving you a hard time about it? So stop comparing yourself to others. That's why I've told people, don't compare yourself to me, but you can take an example of what I'm doing. Now, my situation, yes, I probably got born into this particular lifestyle in the best situation possible. I lived by myself, not knowing that many people in the city of San Jose, Costa Rica. So number one, I was in the tropics. The day I decided I wanted to do this lifestyle, there was outlets for me to get my fruit anywhere within I can think of like 10 different stores I could go to from my house and get food. So everything, that was perfect. I was in the tropics. I had access to 5, 6, 7, 8, whole bunch of different kinds of fruit all the time. I lived by myself. I'm a solitary person, so I could clean my environment completely. Wasn't terribly social. Didn't have that distraction of going out to eat with others. I didn't have to go to a parents thing or a soccer or whatever, where there's other people around. And, there's going to be temptations and things there. So stop comparing yourself to other people. Figure out how to do it in your situation. Don't worry about my situation. You're thinking you don't live in my situation. So you focus on where you are, what your situation is right now, and go from there. And also, another big one, and these are all things like, you just kind of keep spinning these ideas over and over, saying them a different way. Impatience. We live in this society, and I don't know, maybe this whole internet, just the whole way we live now has rewired our brain, but we're like fanatic about getting instant gratification. I don't know how many times over the last 6.5 years I've just kind of shaken my head because I thought somebody was doing actually very good, and I think they actually were doing very good, but they weren't getting the crazy, sensational results that they expected, or maybe, who knows, maybe they went through a little detox or whatever, but they stopped. They didn't give it that long and they stopped. Or maybe they did give it a while and they stopped. But it's almost kind of like I've felt with so many people, it's like, but you were getting it. You were getting it. And then I'll see them maybe, making a comment, or if they do videos or whatever, like how they were struggling. But I'm like, no, you really were doing a lot better than you thought. So you have to give this thing a little bit of time. I mean, look, if you go to YouTube and do some searches, or Google right now, yeah, you're going to see all these sensational stories. You're going to see the person that lost 100 pounds in 6 months. You're going to see the person with just acne all over their face that cleared up in 3 months. You're going to see those things, and that's going to make you anxious, and you're going to be, and even so, I understand. I've been overweight before, and when you are overweight, it's harder to think like that. I want to get this weight off. I want to get this weight off. I want to get this weight off. When, it took you a while to put it on, so it's going to take you a while to get it off. So stop being impatient. I don't know what happened to me the day that I decided to do this lifestyle, but some sort of a attitude washed over me. Like, I never have cared. I was never in a hurry from day one. I just said, okay, let's see what this thing's going to do. Never counted calories, never really paid much attention to the weight, although I should have. I've got way too skinny. I just didn't pay a lot of attention to the results. Nothing that was happening to me or I was going through did I pay it. I just paid attention to the process, and I focused on eating more raw foods, and I focused on then getting, you know, cleaning it up. Some of the things I was learning, not using oil, other little tricks, you know, of things like that. You know, at first I probably had way too much fat. I was still eating cooked food, but it was a learning process, and I kind of enjoyed that. And I never had any sort of, you know, like I say, I'll tell people sometimes it's great to have goals, but I had zero goals. I had zero goals. It was almost like I was going in blind, and I was just like, okay, I'm just going to keep my head down. I'm going to eat like this. It makes sense to me. I'll learn more. I'll make some mistakes, but boom, 6.5 years later, I feel great. I feel great. And you know, sometimes it's like I get a little cynical about this whole thing, and you know, when you have the raw food elders of our group and everybody's all hardcore on this raw, and I just kind of goof a little bit, and I'm not Mr. Pure or whatever, but I'm like, how much better could I actually feel? I mean, I just want to play devil's advocate when people kind of, you know, I can kind of tell when they're giving me the serious look, like, yeah, but you do this, and you shouldn't be eating this, and but blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what else more can I do? You know, so you're telling me if I was, okay, the way I eat now, mostly raw, and I'm not as pure as I could be, if I went just that next level, what am I going to do? Am I going to start float, levitating, being able to see through things? I don't think so. So anyhow, have some patience with this thing. Don't compare yourself to others, and stop waiting for perfection before you do it. Just eat fruits and vegetables. Figure it out as you go. Hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.